Hi, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested. What I have in front of me here today is a typewriter a lot of people haven't seen, and that is a Wanderer Klein Continental. Now, even though it doesn't say Klein, Klein is a German word for small, as opposed to the standard typewriters that they originally started producing. So this is simply their attempt at a portable typewriter. Now, this has a decent reputation as being a good typer, and I can easily understand that. I don't necessarily disagree with that. However, having worked on this, I can say that I have a number of complaints about the engineering, which I will not enumerate here, but suffice it to say, it was a little frustrating. Now, this particular one has a keyboard that is Spanish, and you'll notice the dead key here and the ñ. And of course, the various other punctuation and the ordinal keys. That's what these are, numero, numera. But what I wanted to show today was certain aspects of the escapement on this particular typewriter that I found very, very interesting because they're a bit unusual as compared to most typewriters that you're used to dealing with. But, of course, this particular typewriter is worth taking a bit of a closer look at before we go into the escapement. And that is because this is a rather special unit. Of course, I can't quite type because things are in different places than I thought they were. This is a Spanish italic typewriter. Now, one problem with this, of course, is, as I just mentioned, things are not quite in the same spot. So you have the inverted exclamation point, the inverted question mark. Here is the ñ instead of the semicolon. You have the question mark and slash above the comma period. And then you have this C1 key, which I assume is trying to mean cents or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But that means you have to pay attention. So if I really was watching what I was doing, it would have been there is no apostrophe here because that character is not used in Spanish. Instead, what we have is the tilde, as it's called, and then a trema. I don't know exactly what the Spanish name for it would be, but that's the two dots over a letter. So we have the lower uppercase ñ, and that which can function as an apostrophe. Now, one thing about this that is very interesting is that if you were to look at these type slugs carefully, this is the dead key for the tilde and the trema. You'll notice that it has a wider than average type slug. And that is because if I type this, you can see that it puts the character before the space that it's in. It's actually not supposed to advance the carriage, but the boss hasn't been worked down quite as much as it ought to. So if I type that, and then I type the tilde, you get it on top of the character you previously typed. And that's the opposite of what's usually meant to happen. You type the dead key, then you type the character as you would in French or another sort of language. So this could be called a reachback or a retrograde dead key. And I just thought that was a very interesting design. Now, in order to do this, one of the things they had to do, and I won't be able to show it very easily here, is they had to actually carve out a bit of the key next to it in order to allow the fat key here to clear. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I just wanted to show that real quick before I got onto what I was really after. And that would be showing you the escapement on this typewriter and how it operates. Now, I still have the back plate off of this, and that should be all that's necessary. Let me see if I can prop this up a little bit more. And let's use my wrench case here, I guess. Okay. Now, this is not going to be easy to show, but I'm going to try. Let's see here. Let me pause this while I find the right angles. Okay, thank you for being patient. The first thing I wanted to show was the backspace, because that is something, this method of doing this is something I haven't actually seen before. If I can get a little more light on here, maybe. Okay, so you see, this down here. That is one tooth of the star wheel, the escapement, the escape wheel, if you want to use that term. Now, to operate a backspace, what happens, let me zoom out for just a minute so I can show you a little bit more about this, is the backspace key operates that pivot right here, and on the end of that, there is a little pawl, like, okay, focus up again. There's a little pawl-like attachment which hits the very edge of that escape wheel and then will push it down. Now at this point, the edge of that pawl is almost touching the center of the escape wheel. And it's very hard to see, but if you notice, it's just barely touching that wheel, which means that it will very easily miss it if it's maladjusted. And that was one of the things that I had to fight with when I was working on this particular typewriter, was that it was missing that tooth, so the backspace wasn't working. Now, normally what you would find is the mechanism would operate over the top of the wheel and pull a tooth back this direction. So it would pull this way and would either slip over it or would go up and only dig down when it needed to actually operate. So this is a very different approach to doing the backspace than I'm accustomed to seeing, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think it's actually very useful, but it works if it's calibrated correctly, and that's the key. It has to be calibrated correctly. Now, one other interesting aspect of this escapement, which I will get to in just a moment. I'm going to pause again so I can reposition the typewriter and figure out how to best film it. All right, so on this typewriter, I'm staring at the right side. This is our margin release. And one interesting thing I note about this typewriter, as opposed to others, if I can zoom in here and actually manage to show it to you. Okay, focus on the right thing, please. There we go. So what you see in the middle of the screen right here is the pinion for the escapement. So if I roll this back, you can see it turn, And if I type a character, well, I can't actually because of the way this typewriter works. But if I hit the space bar, you can see that it moves every time I hit the bar. Now, if I want to hit the carriage release, what would normally happen is that the rack here, you can see the teeth on it, would be pushed back away from the pinion, or the tooth on the escapement would be pulled away, thus freeing the pinion or the rack from the restraint, allowing the carriage spring to operate. That's not the case in this particular typewriter. What happens is that the pinion gear is physically moved back away from the escapement, taking the rack with it. So rather than moving the fixed dog or the rack, you move the pinion with the rack. And let me work around the margin. And slide that on a shaft away from the dog. So you disengage the escapement by moving the pinion rather than disengaging the pinion from the escapement, which I thought was just a very interesting approach to this particular problem. It's unconventional, which is part of the reason I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it does allow a little bit of extra play, I guess, in the pinion, but it's not like that's going to cause any particular problem given the size of the pinion and the depth of the teeth. So there's a lot of room for a little bit of slop there. I guess it's a contradictory statement, but you understand my meaning. At any rate, I just thought that was very interesting to observe, and I thought I would show it to everybody. So just love seeing little mechanical details like that. I mean, I'm an engineering type, so every time I have a chance to see something of that sort, just really gets me going. So, as I said, Wanderer Klein Continental. This particular one, I actually forget when it's from. 1935. These were not in production for all that long, but they were reasonably popular. Most of these you see with French keyboards or German keyboards, so QWERTY or AZERTY, and you have to kind of adapt your fingers to those. This one, being a Spanish keyboard, as long as I pay attention to the punctuation, I can still type just fine on this keyboard, which is one of the reasons why I feel I'm lucky to have gotten this particular typewriter. Anyway, there you have it. Once again, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested.